Hey everyone, Sawmill Charlie. Welcome to another Friday night show. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and everybody's rocking and rolling, ready to go to Nobby in just a few more days. Let me go ahead and drop the link in, let everybody in who wants to come in. And there it is. And it's pinned to the top. Yeah, Keith, woohoo! Absolutely. And hey, Hanley. Oh my, I'm rocking and rolling, ready to go. Got the car up and running. Here comes Bill in, helping me out. Bill's been working on palletizing all the goodies to load the tractor and trailers up. Can you hear me, Bill?
Yeah, I can hear you this time. Yeah, we've been building pallets, getting ready to go Tuesday morning.
Is that when the tractor and trailers pulling out or sooner?
7 a.m. Tuesday morning, they're going to be there to be loaded.
Hey, James and Scott, Stephen. Hey, Greg, Bill, TC, Brian. And there's Sandy, of course, and Mike and Tom and Randy. Yeah, Randy, I treated my bees today. It was about 43 to 45 degrees. They were flying at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, pretty much all of them. I got out there just a little after 3. There's and all that. Hey, Roy and Randy, Tar Heel, Hope. So that's what I did today. And then I also unloaded about 23 round bales into the barn for my son so he could resell them all, I guess. So it's supposed to rain here for the next, I don't know, 2 to 4 days. I know Saturday and Sunday it's supposed to rain pretty high percentage rate, 90%, something like that. Monday, I think it's still like 50-some percent. And Hanley says his bees would have been flying, but it rained all day. All that. And he's out there in Indiana. And there's Philip out in the great state of Texas. All that. So, hey, Nancy, came over, did you? Seemed like the other chat's getting smaller and smaller. Here comes Tom in. Mr. Swarm Trap Man himself.
Yeah.
So what's up, Tom? Anything?
Well, I went through all my hives the last 2 days, just checking stores.
And what kind of temperature you guys have out there in Ohio?
Mid-50s.
Really?
And tomorrow, tomorrow low 60s and partly cloudy.
Really?
Mostly
nice.
Partly cloudy.
Hey, Clay. So what did you find?
Well, I found some hives were fine on stores, and some of them went through stores. My best hive, my biggest one, had over a whole deep of honey on top of them. The box was so heavy I could hardly pick it up with 2 hands. And
really?
I didn't put any shim or anything on them.
That's a double deep, right, Tom?
Yeah. Yep. Both deeps were full of honey, and they've already blown through all of it.
Really?
Yes. They were at the very top, and all they had was honey on the outside frames. I didn't go down to the bottom box, but if they were already up at the top, I'm sure they went through that. And it wasn't heavy anymore either. They've eaten all their honey. With all this warm weather we've had through November into December, except for a couple weeks in December, So they got sugar bricks on them now.
So you had that whole top full, jam packed full of sugar water honey.
Yeah.
And they've ate all the way through that.
Yeah, that one ate all the way through. Now it was probably my biggest hive going into winter.
Now, didn't see any brood in there now, did you?
I didn't pull any frames out too much. Just on the top there, looking for honey.
Yeah.
I didn't look down below, and there was bees in both boxes. It's a big hive.
And it's still packed full of bees.
Yeah, it's still, there's probably still, I would say total 8 frames of bees between the two boxes, 4 and 4 basically, maybe 4 and 5. There was a lot of bees in it. I actually did crack the bottom, looked in the bottom box, but I didn't pull any frames out.
I wonder if it had been, I mean, since you're having multiple days in a row with warm weather, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if you throw a feeder with 2 to 1 on there would be advisable or not.
They probably would take it down the next couple days.
Yeah, but it's what I'm thinking. I mean, I figured they would, if you gave them let's say 2 gallons, they probably would suck that down in what, 6-8 hours maybe.
Yeah. If I got one of the ones that have a few holes in it, so they could, get more in it. Yeah, I think we're supposed to get rain Tuesday, and a cold front's supposed to come through, and we're supposed to get really, really cold. But between now and Tuesdays, it's 60 and then 50s.
Okay. So you're out now. You're close to Nobby. What would you say Tuesday or Wednesday's going to be out there?
Tuesday, it's going to be probably mostly cloudy, maybe some sun, partly cloudy, probably around 40 degrees.
Okay.
Tuesday will be a little bit warmer. It might be a little wet in the morning because there's a little front coming through south of Cincinnati, but it probably hit Louisville. Wednesday should be upper 30s. Thursday should be mid 30s to upper 30s, and Friday should probably be just 34, 35 degrees and sunny. And same thing with Saturday. That cold front's coming through, and each day it's getting 2 or 3 degrees colder.
But no snow.
No snow, no rain. Maybe Tuesday morning.
Okay.
Yeah, I just saw the forecast a few minutes ago for Cincinnati, and you can add 5 degrees to the temperature to get it about right.
Right. Yeah, Philip, tonight is my last show before the expo. It definitely will not be on next Friday night for sure. I'll be at Hives for Heroes this time next week.
Yeah, so will I.
And let's see. Steven's down there in Memphis. He's got an open air hive down there.
Okay. They'll probably survive in Memphis.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've never heard of one surviving in the greater Cincinnati area.
Yeah. Hey, Richard. No, I just, I'm leaving Tuesday morning, and I guess I'll call it 2 days to get out there per se. When do you have to pull your stuff in, Bill, inside the building out there?
My tractor trailer is leaving Tuesday morning after we load him, and he will be down there Wednesday morning by 8-9 o'clock for us to unload and finish setting up the booth.
So are you driving Tuesday straight through then?
Oh yeah, I have no choice.
Right.
But it's not that far, so I'm going straight across West Virginia.
How many hours is from your house then? Probably about what, 8? Something like that.
Between 6 and 8 hours.
6 and 8 hours.
Because from here to Parkersburg, it's 4.5 from here to Parkersburg.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm figuring I'm gonna leave Tuesday. That way we don't have to push ourselves so hard. And if I get out, I don't like to get out of West Virginia, get out of the mountains, then get a room and then head on in Wednesday morning, the 1st,
Yeah.
and all that. The only problem of it is that the hotel says you can't check in until like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, great,
Right.
yeah, that's right, DC. Charlie's on vacation and Bill's going to work.
Yeah. So I will be on here Monday night. So that'll be my last show until I get back from Nobby.
Right. And
Well, that's cool. Bill, I'm hoping to get down there before 11 o'clock Wednesday. So I'll look you up to see if you need any more help.
Okay. Booth number 430.
4:30. All right. Yeah, I know about where you're at for the
Okay.
map.
I'm right there at the back door.
Yeah, you're in the back.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty back, right where you'll be loading.
Yeah, I'm back there where the Dant was at last year.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I just that's what I want to do as far as get out there and everything. I just don't want to drive. Like say some people are like you say leaving on the 1st, and it's like 12 hours for me, and I'm like, then I'm gonna be, if I don't get be super tired for the party that night, and I'm like, the heck with that.
Yeah, I'm going to be
Right.
dragging Monday. So
Yeah, Doug. I have already had my cowboy boots resold once because of that and all that.
Well, after this one, you're going to need to resole them again.
Oh, I guess I'll be more popular. I guess.
I'm gonna make sure I get some good video Friday.
Yeah, it's like I was on Bruce's video thing Christmas there before I did that chat, and he said all the legends were on here tonight. I said, "Oh, I didn't know I was a legend."
Square dance.
Huh?
Square dance legend.
Then Bracken texts me, he says, now I sent him my phone number, and he said, now I can text directly to the legend. I said, yeah, Bruce made it official. And all that stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
I got my honey all ready for the honey competition today.
Good.
Are you going to enter that stuff, are you?
Yeah, just a couple things.
Oh, where's my pencils at?
I don't go crazy about it.
I did that here locally one time, and they screwed up the judging. Well, it got to the point where they did it by point system. Somebody couldn't add. So I
Yeah.
was dead last. And the guy they said it was third, or I think second place, should have been dead last. And I got my $2, but prize money, but it was like, hey, I didn't get the darn, what do you call it? The ribbon
Right.
and all that stuff, which doesn't really matter to me, but
Yeah.
and then you had to wait until everybody left in order to get your stuff back. And I said that was it. I was done with that. I mean, and then of course you in order to really do it right, you have to know all the little tricks to it. And
Yeah. Yeah, I actually poured the bottles probably a month ago. 3 weeks ago just to get all the bubbles. You'll be surprised there's micro bubbles in the honey if you put a backlight to it.
There's a gal, her name is Monica, and she'll be at Nobby. It's called Mission Believe. And you want to know she is heavily into competition.
Yeah.
She's also the 2019 gold platter winner for EAS Master Beekeeper, honey judging show and all that stuff. And she's, yeah, I guess, I don't know, Doug, 2.66K subscribers. I don't know. That's little or nothing compared to Ian. He's got 90,000. But anyway, I had her give a presentation at our bee club, and it was just overwhelming, the prep work that she does weeks and months in advance.
Right.
Like when she does harvesting, she selects certain frames that she wants, to get that honey out of, or maybe it's just for honey frames. You have to, looking for the perfect frame. And hey, Russell, and hey, Steve, and all that kind of stuff. And then like glassware. Is there an imperfection in the glass? And then when she handles her bottle, she has little white gloves that are like mesh that, don't leave any lint.
Alcohol pads for cleaning the glass.
Extra lids. I mean, just on and on and on and all that kind of crazy stuff. And hey, John. And all that kind of stuff, and it's way beyond what I had ever thought about. And it's not something that I really want to do.
On Nabby, you don't have to have perfect glass because it's literally almost impossible to have a perfect glass bottle.
Yeah.
Because all Queen line and classic Queen bottles are all recycled glass. And all recycled glass has imperfections in them.
Right.
And the important part about the judging is getting 3 bottles that are identical.
Yes.
But also getting the glass that has the same lot number. That's the important part, is the lot number on the jar, because if it comes down to it, and somebody's got 3 perfect and another person has 3 perfect ones, and they flip them over and look at that lot number, say the guy that they were leaning towards has got one lot number that's different than the other 2, he's automatically out.
Now, see, there you go.
Yeah.
Is it really about the honey? No. It's all about
attention to detail.
It's presentation. It's all about presentation.
And attention,
and that just turns me off.
And it actually is not the honey I would sell that I'm doing in the show, because it's filtered and filtered and filtered through cheesecloth, 90, I don't know what they call that, 90 weight cheesecloth, 4 or 5 layers where it only drips through it. It takes all the pollen out of it, anything that's in that honey. And I don't do any of that when I'm selling my honey. It's got the 300 micron stainless steel filter, and that's it.
Yep.
And whatever settles in the tank.
But it all comes down to presentation. You're exactly right, Charlie. It's nothing but presentation. So, because they even go as far as when they open that jar and they smell it, they're not smelling the honey smell. They're smelling for cleaners.
Yeah.
That's
why I use alcohol pads.
Anything that's off when they open it up and scratches on the lid or honey on the underside of the lid.
Right. Yeah. No honey on the lid.
Yep.
Yeah, all that. Nah, I was like, forget it.
No honey on the side of the glass. That's the lip.
Yep.
No honey past the mark, the fill line, basically.
Exactly.
Little things like that.
Yep. I would almost rather do a black jar honey contest
I'm doing
where
that.
it does go on taste and aroma than to do the open judging.
To me,
Yeah,
that's
black
me,
jar is the
that's a
most
real,
important one.
yeah. I think black jar is the real honey
Yeah.
test as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned, and all that.
They do taste the honey, and they look for consistency that they taste the same.
Yeah, it just
Yeah, this jar that's half empty gets the black jar.
hey, sweet Harlan honeybees. Uh, so let's see. But yeah, I like the black jar better.
So I'm doing an amber and black jar. That's it. Hopefully the line's not too long. Last year it was not very good. They didn't have enough people for entry into the show.
I don't know. I got an email. They're begging for stewards. So
What at Nobby?
yeah.
Yeah, they're doing an early entry Wednesday morning before the show opens. So hopefully that line's not too bad.
Yeah, that early entry is also for the honey judging class.
Yeah.
What was that bill about the honey judging class?
There's a honey judging class that's taking place down there from the same group that I took my class with. And
Yeah, Pam's got. I got a ticket for Pam for that.
yeah. And Brutz English, the chief judge, is teaching it, and he's
Yeah.
very, very informative, and he will cover everything.
She's supposed to be there at 8:30 Thursday morning,
Yep.
and it's she has the details on it.
Yeah, it'll be all day.
It's an all day thing for her. That's
Yeah.
fine. So we were going to go to West Virginia, over here close to Harper's Ferry for it, but that was the same weekend I was going to Georgia for a load of bees, and she had to go to West Virginia, or I guess it was that, either that or Ohio or something. That week, both of us were going different directions. Yeah, Gary, I agree with you there. Bragging rights don't give you any more money. And I like Steve, the judges is his clients buying the honey. And that's kind of where I'm at, you know. They keep buying honey every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to see how it does.
Yeah, Gary, you're out there in Salem, West Virginia. Yeah, you're not too far off from Clarksburg, I think it is. If we got time, we'll do that. All I need is a contact phone number. But yeah, she's taking that class. I'm not sure whether I'm going to do any videoing this year or not. It didn't. Well, there's Garrett. Long time no see, Beeheim Homestead. And all. But and all that. So See what I'm looking at the comments here. Route 50 is the east way.
Right? Route 50 is just a mile from me. I don't even know if it's a mile. About a mile. Parts of it. It runs all the way out to the Rocky Mountains.
Nancy started a drone class.
Yeah, where are you going to go, Nancy? Over to New Jersey? I'll tell you one thing. Somebody posted a drone picture with a F-18 or whatever it was, military plane coming behind it, and it wasn't no drone like I've ever seen before. It looked like a sphere and not a propeller. I mean,
Oh no.
yeah, but when I say drone, I mean I've seen agricultural drones, which would be the size of a 8-foot by 10-foot flatbed truck. That's how the wings. Each wing, there's 4 wings. Each wing's at least 4 feet wide.
Some drones are jets and just don't have any people flying them.
Oh, there's people flying them, but they're on the ground looking at them.
Yeah, they're on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of them look like jets. The military guns. Yeah, the 3 that flew over my house a couple weeks ago, I don't know if I was hearing the wind or if I was hearing them, but they were almost dead quiet. And they were pretty good size of a charter bus.
What's that? A drone?
Yeah, the 3 I saw.
Talking about a drone airplane.
Yeah, drone. It was more like a plane. It was more of a plane shape.
Yeah, it's more of a military thing.
Yeah, it was a military drone. It was for sure.
So, Steve Waremouth, are you living in Illinois or Iowa? I mean, or yeah, it must be in Iowa. I thought it said Ohio there for a minute. I know, but yeah, that whatever that drone was on that video, it was definitely not one little dinky thing or anything like that.
No. I heard some guy that actually builds military drones, and he says drones flying low at night are only looking for 2 things. They're looking for heat signature, which is probably people, or they're sniffing, looking for smells from the ground.
Yeah,
And that kind of makes sense. Anything else, they'd be flying during the daytime.
Well, they fly at night because they don't want anybody to know it.
These things were dead quiet. They would be just as sneaky at night, at daytime.
Hey, Brian Cooper. Brian, I ordered 3 clear see-through inner covers that are actually been shipped already.
Yeah, I need to order a few of those just when I have my bee yard classes that I can actually just take the lid off and they can see the bees.
Yeah, I got them through what's it called? Beetlejail.com.
Yeah.
I actually emailed, I think the guy's name is Dave out there that owns the place. And I said I didn't want the upper entrance notch. I don't like it in my covers, to get rid of that. And he said, yeah. And he said, and then he also wanted to know there's a slot in the middle of that plexiglass like a normal inner cover. And they usually supply a screen to lay on top of it. I said, I don't even want that.
Yeah.
So supposedly it's just going to be a inner cover that's got plexiglass. So it's more of a, like you would say, more observation. And I want to see about like the condensing hive like I got it now with the insulation, where I put that screen on, put the
Yep.
insulation on top of that. And then when I pull the insulation, I can see what the moisture is doing in the hive along with the bees. Just more of a curiosity thing.
Right.
It's
Well,
like Brian C has a lot of those, and I really like it was neat to see the bees moving around and all that stuff.
I've been doing the condensing hive since 2020, maybe 2019, 2020 on all my hives.
Yeah. Yeah, Brian, I, like I say, emailed him and they said, yeah, they would do that for me.
The only thing I haven't don't do that on is my horizontals. I still don't know how to vent those things, what to do with those.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm not, when it comes to horizontal beekeeping, I'm just not, not, just not interested in those type of hives.
Yeah.
Thing.
My one nuke size hive in Ricky's horizontal still alive. I checked on them the other day. They are looking good.
And I'm right reading the comments here.
Yeah. John likes his.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I've never had one. I mean, I've got some here that I could probably use. They're top bar beehives, I guess you'd call them. They're not long langs. It seems like everybody
Right.
now is going towards the long lang. It's kind of a crossover.
Yeah, all mine are Langford ones.
Yeah, Scott, do I go to the Pensa Farm show? I don't go the one up in Harrisburg. That's more for city people, and you might see 2 tractors up there. I go to York, Pennsylvania, which is, I think, the same weekend, which I think it's the week after Nobby, and everything's, it's not the farm, it's the Pennsylvania Dairy Show, I think it's called. And anyway, it's everything, you got all the machinery, when I want to go look at a bale bearing, it's there. They've got
Right.
things like that. Where the last time I went there with the kids up at the Pennsylvania Farm Show, they might have had a combine and 2 or 3 tractors. So I'm like, this is a joke. So, let me see.
Yeah. And soon it will be nabby time.
Won't
It's
be
called-
long.
Yeah, Tuesday through Thursday, Keystone Farm Show, York, PA. That's the one I'll be going to, Scott.
It's going to be cold.
Yeah, I know they have the bee stuff up there at the Harrisburg thing. I know they got butter display and all that other stuff.
The unlikely beekeeper. Howdy.
Hey, Mike. Y'all ready to truck out to Nobby there and set up for the booth?
Sure he is. Yeah, so it was good to see all the girls.
Mm-hmm.
No real surprises, which was good. Except for stores, but some bees were fine, some of them were low.
All right,
Okay.
Jared. We'll catch you later. You know who Mike is, right, Bill? Mike's Bees.
I think
Easy
so.
Ox, Easy Ox, oxalic acid.
Oh yeah, okay.
Hey, Ernest.
Right.
Ernest is coming over from the other chit chat. He's up in Pennsylvania. He He's one of the Fat Bee Man's proteges years ago.
Oh, okay. I don't know him.
Ernest, he raises a lot of nukes and cells and stuff like that in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, one of my goals this year is to fill up my 12 six frame, double 6 frame, 12 frame nuke hives. They're all going to be nuke hives.
I seen James was on air from up there in Alberta, Canada. James, if you're still on, why don't you come on in and give us an update of what's going up your way?
Snow, cold.
I'm sure of that. I'm sure.
I think he's getting a lot of snow right now. Those fronts, there's been a lot of fronts coming through, and I think it's all been snow up there.
Yeah. And there's Russell from the other chat that we were on, I believe. He's new to the chat and everything. I think Russell has been at it for about 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
And all that. And
yeah, 25 would be my 7th year. So I'm getting there. Actually, my 8th, 6, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, 8 years.
yeah. So anyway, this back to the bees, try to get back on topic here. Like I say, they were flying a little bit today. They won't be doing that for the next couple days at least, if not probably another week or more.
Yeah, all my bees have been flying the last 3 days.
Yeah, we didn't. You had all that weather, but now we're getting all the rain everybody else is talking about.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I'm going to put some dry pollen out tomorrow because it's going to be sunny and 60 to 62 degrees, somewhere in that ballpark, depending on how much sun we get.
I don't know. I used to do that, and
it'll give them somewhere to fly to.
All right, Steve. Okay. Yeah, I remember that. Are you still, Steve? I guess you're going to Nobby and going to stay at the Hilton. And all that. Yeah, I don't know. I used to do that dry pollen powder. And what I found is that I used to go out there and, put a bucket out there and all that kind of stuff. But then they would pack those empty brood combs full of that stuff. And then I'd be pollen bound more so. You'd have 4 or 5 frames of pollen, and they really didn't utilize it. And
I will only put it out this time of year or at the end of the year when there is no pollen.
Did you find that your hives had natural pollen in there when they went into the winter? At least a frame or 2?
Actually, they did have pretty much. They had some. They had plenty, I think, most of them. I mean, that's one thing. We did have a good goldenrod bloom this year. There was just no nectar in it. So they got all that goldenrod pollen.
All right. Yeah. Well, that's all right. And I see Steve says he's going to be at the same hotel I'm at. And I guess, Steve, are you coming to are you going to be there on the 1st and come to the dinner party that I'm kind of hosting along with Melissa and Tom via Honey Hives? Yeah, Scott, I don't know. It's 52. I like treating when it's somewhere around 45 to 48 degrees. That way the bees are not too active. And I think, I don't know, my son says it's only a 20 or 30% chance of rain on a Monday. We'll see what happens.
Should be warm too for you, Charlie.
Yeah, that's what I would say, Gary. I think they have enough stored in there. I don't really, the only time I started going with pollen patties, and I buy the pollen patties from Nobby here, which is a really good price with the apis in there, and I'll get them. I got 20 pounds ordered and paid for, and I will get those and probably put them on the 1st of February. If not, I'll say the last week or so of January, depending on weather conditions again.
Roy wondered if you're putting pollen out there that they might brood up early. I haven't seen that. Not with the pollen, that dry pollen, because there's not real pollen in it, or not much.
Right. Hey, Ryan.
And actually, the queens should now, since we had the winter solstice, they should start getting their boxes ready to start for her to start laying here soon.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ryan, are you working tonight, or are you able to come on?
I've been cleaning all my, since I do single brood management and I put another box on top, I've been cleaning all those deeps up. So I got 12 of them done. I think I got 11 more to do. That'd make my 21 production hives. Just clearing the propolis off the frames.
Yeah.
When they get back together, nice and tight.
Mark there, Miller, he's out there and he's west of Nashville. He said he got 1.25 inches of rain out there so far.
Wow.
They're supposed to rain the next 2 days.
It's been raining here a lot.
It hasn't really been raining too awful much here.
Yeah, it's supposed to start here tonight and rain through Sunday.
That's what it says for me too.
Yeah, and I think, next couple of days we're supposed to get 1.5 inches of rain. I think, tomorrow night. Supposed to come in like at midnight tomorrow. Anywhere from 1 inch to 1.5 inches.
Yep, they're calling for 1.5 inches to 2 inches here. Won't be much farming going on after that.
No, it's coming up from the Texas Gulf area and shooting right up the Mississippi Valley, River Valley, then the Ohio River Valley, and out through the Northeast.
What is that, a rainstorm or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping they were going to get my line down before it rained so I could get into the ground, but it doesn't look that way now.
Yeah.
So, Steve says it's been raining almost all day here in Iowa. I guess that's what's coming towards. Well, actually, probably be.
We had rain this morning, but then the warm front came through. It went from 50 to 40, upper 40s to, it was the same temperature yesterday as it was today. But a warm front came through to make it 60 tomorrow.
Yeah, I think our rain's coming out of the southwest, Charlie.
Yeah.
Coming up the coast, I guess.
And then Tuesday, a little clipper is supposed to come through south of Cincinnati, down through Kentucky and western Tennessee. So I think that'll clip Louisville on Tuesday.
That's what they're saying. And it's supposed to be in the 40s when we get down there on the 31st and the 1st, and then by the time we leave, it's supposed to be down in the 30s.
Yeah, it's by Saturday. That sounds about right.
Yep.
Each day getting 3 degrees colder.
Yep.
But after Tuesday, little rain in the morning. There's not supposed to be anything else till Sunday.
Well, they got a 50-50 chance to get it right.
That's yeah. And it'll change tomorrow, and then it'll change again the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scott, I think we'll definitely, normally February will be decent for us.
Yeah.
I think I would say early. You would probably want to put those patties on the 1st of February, because I know around where I'm living, which I'm only an hour or so below you, the maple trees start to bloom, and that's when the bees say the heck with this stuff and go for the good stuff.
Yep.
Right.
Maples in the Pacific.
My goal is 3 weeks before the first maple blooms.
3 weeks before what?
The maple blooms.
Bloom.
We got a lot of silver maples, and they bloom before the reds.
Yeah, that's what I got. Well, I got silver maples here. Lawn ornament maples.
They usually bloom around the end of February to the first day of March, right at the end of the month. So I'm hoping to get them on early February if weather permits.
Then the poplars bloom in first part of April.
Yeah. Yep. Then the flow really hits.
Yeah, then it's on.
Gary Stewart's did a cutout in late November, and he was shocked how strong they were and everything.
And I actually got my swarm boxes together today. So I'm trying to be a little proactive.
Is that the ones that's made out of the totes?
Yeah, out of the 18-gallon Rubbermaid totes.
Yeah, you got a video on, don't you?
Yeah, a little one, short one. Yeah, I got frames in them now, or mostly frames in them. As I was going through my boxes today, anything that was black comb I was pulling out, and they're going in the swarm traps. So that's why I was up working on the swarm traps. Instead of storing the frames, I put them right in the boxes already.
Yeah. I don't know. For me to get through knobbing, get that done, and then.
Well, I work for a living still, so I'm off now. You know, I was off this week and I'm off next week. So if I'm not at Nabby, I'm doing bee work.
So I bought a cool little tool for the queen rearing class today. It's a little LCD handheld microscope, and it comes up on an LCD screen.
Oh, yeah.
So you
Okay.
can actually see closer up what you're doing with the tip of the tool and getting down under the larva with the tip of the tool. So
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I got a ring light here. It's a magnifying glass. That's what I use.
Yeah, while I'm grafting, I put my reading glasses on, the ones I've got on right now.
I could probably show it. Yeah, here it is. That's what I use.
And then I use a jeweler's thing with a 1.5 magnification, and that does good for me.
Yeah, I've seen them used before, and you hold this microscope in one hand and you watch the LCD screen. You don't watch your tool, you watch the LCD screen.
Right.
And it takes a little bit getting used to doing it without watching your hand, but you can see the tip of that tool very, very clear when you go into that cell.
Right.
Yeah, and you got to have that hooked up to a computer.
No, it's got a screen on it.
Oh, it's got a screen on it. Okay.
Yeah, and you can see it. You can actually watch the tip of the tool, and it's a really clear picture. You'll see it when you come for the queen ring class, because I'm gonna have them then. And,
I bought one that hooks to your computer that
yep, this
Lee,
one looks computer
Lee,
too.
yeah, Lee had years ago, but I really never used the darn thing. Hey, Phil. Good to see you in.
And my friend that I partner with does the artificial insemination. That's really tricky because the left hand, you're screwing the semen out for the drones that's in the tube, silene to clean it, then vacuum that out, then put the sperm in from the drone, and more saline behind that to clean it. All with your left hand. At the same time, you got the queen opening up with your right hand, all looking through the monitor of the microscope.
Yeah. And this one, it's up to 1,000 times magnification on it.
Yeah, and it's it's tough. Right hand and left hand coordination all at the same time.
Yeah.
Where'd you
And the
find
only
out?
thing I see with it is getting used to not looking at your tool, but looking at what's going on that screen with the end of the tool.
And I found out that young people do a lot better job than older people.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I had a guy that I was mentoring. He was quite young. And I said, here's my magnification. And he said, I don't need that. What do you mean? You don't need it? And he could see that larvae that was, less than 12 hours old without any glasses at all. I said, you got to be kidding me. And he could do it. And I said, all right, this is your bar of 15 graphs. And guess who got all of them? He did.
He did.
Yeah.
With my glasses I got now, my new prescriptions, I can see the larvae pretty good. But before that, I couldn't.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
You are very lucky. Because I'm like Charlie. I wear my glasses and I put on jeweler's glasses and everything else to be able to see.
Yeah, and then I was like, DC's talking about in the right light. Well, the key to that is to go to a drugstore or wherever you can buy the 3-pack of the little LED lights that are, I don't know, they're about 3 inches long. And black foundation definitely helps, Gary.
Yep.
And if you use that light and kind of back and forth and making that stuff glisten, then you can go in there with that Chinese hive tool and draft it and get
older comb, it works a lot better too.
Oh, well, yeah, I really never had any problems with that. I always use black foundation.
Yeah.
And I got my LED light. I've got my regular reading glasses, or my computer glasses, as I call them. And I use the 1.5 magnification. I found that works for me. That's something when it comes to magnification, you have to kind of figure that out yourself.
Yep,
and
you do.
And then the other thing is when you're trying to select larvae frames out of the hive, I had Kent Williams who taught me back in 19, and yep, that's right, Paul. And anyway, I found that if you see jelly, but you can't see anything floating in the jelly with your regular glasses on,
still there.
That's the one you want to take in and graft, because when you put your magnification on, that will show right up, and that's the perfect age for all that stuff.
Yeah, that's another thing I've learned over the years. You can't have too much royal jelly in the cell.
Well, that's another thing. If you later in the season, the royal jelly gets less and less because of nectar and whatever resources coming in, and it is a lot harder to graft.
I've already gone into non-ones I weren't going to graft. Take the larvae out and put the royal jelly in, then graft, and then put the larvae and combine the royal jelly from 2 cells or
Yeah.
3 cells.
Doug wants to know if anybody's used the Nicot system successfully. I
No.
actually had one. I actually won it from the guy down in North Carolina. But I never used it, and I don't know. I've never used the darn thing myself, the Nicot system. I don't know. I got into, once I took that class, I mean, everybody talks about grafting is so hard. And I'm like, I got down there that class where it was in Knoxville, and it was in March, I think. And things were blooming down there, 4 to 6 weeks more than what we were up here. I mean, it was warm down there, jacket weather at that time. And in 5 minutes or so, or 10 minutes after him showing it, I said, "Is this all there is to it?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah." And so we had 2 different lines, and we both, we all grafted several times, and then everybody else went through the line several different times. Some people did it and some people didn't do it. And I found it was very easy. It was, the biggest thing was coming home. It was setting up a cell builder and choosing the right aged larvae in the hive. And he was trying to do it mathematically. I tried it that way and it just didn't work. And then and this is what I talk about in deep, when I talk about stuff, I want to talk about it in great detail, is that this is the easy way of doing it. Find larvae or find jelly in a comb that you can't see anything float. If you can see something floating in the jelly, it's too old. If you can't see anything, if you can't see anything, you see jelly, a lot of jelly, and you can't see anything floating in that jelly, that's the right age larvae, because it's there. You just can't see it.
Yeah.
And you got to hope that you get it when you go in with the tool to get it. You got to hope that
you should be able to get it. I mean,
yeah.
The main thing is like he showed us. I tell people, I said, take the thumb test. And I said, if you take your Chinese grafting tool and hit your thumbnail and it bends nice and easy, that reed is just right. If it's like a darn nail and it can't bend, and then it's too thick.
Yep.
And then I don't know why. Let's see. Doug says he got the Nicot and he could get eggs in it, but when the queen was removing the bees, when the queen was removing the bees,
when the queen was removed, the bees removed the eggs.
Oh, okay. I got you now. Hey, Dennis, good to see you.
I was thinking the other day, this QMP sticks work really good for making your starter builder box, because you can put all your frames in there. You can put eggs in there and everything. If you just put one of those sticks in there, or a half a stick, for 6 days, they think they got a queen, and they won't make any queen cells. And then after 6 days, all those eggs are too old. And you can, on the 7th day, you can take that stick out, and on the 7th day, you can put your grafted cells in.
Yeah, you can do it that way. That's a queenless way to do it. But if you're doing a queen cell builder, the queen is on the bottom, and there's a queen excluder there, or a double screen board, so that scent comes up through it, and you're good.
Yeah, that's another way you can do it. That way you don't have to worry about missing queen cells. They won't build any queen cells.
Exactly.
All right, so let's see. I'm going to get back here. Matt, from talking about eating royal jelly. You kind of do that when you're
grafting.
When you're grafting anyway, you eat it.
And larvae.
That's one thing. That's another little tidbit secret. You got to sit there and suck on that darn
Tip.
grafting tool. And I always tell people to kind of make your tongue wrap it so it bends that tongue around like that on that tool, and it's heating it so it's kind of makes it flexible, and it'll slide down into that comb easier.
Yeah, that bamboo and that Chinese tool is stiff and it's dry. And when you start getting it wet, it starts getting flexible, and chew on it a little bit to thin it out some more, and then it'll bend a lot easier when you do that.
Yeah. Well, Dennis, she says going to be finally coming to Nobby. Well, that's great, Dennis. Look us all up. What day are you leaving and arriving into Kentucky?
Boy, Dennis will be shocked. It's huge.
Well, from what I understand, there's supposed to be 4,000 people down there. They sold 4,000 tickets.
Yeah.
Is that just beekeepers alone?
That's
Yes.
beekeeping. That's attendees.
4K.
250 vendors.
250 vendors?
Yep.
Gosh, there was 140 last January. So 120 more vendors than normal.
Yep.
Yeah.
John, as far as grafting tools you're talking about, John, I don't know. I find the Chinese grafting tool to be the most easiest.
Yeah, that's what I use.
It is the easiest for a beginner to learn with.
I mean, as far as trying to pick the larvae up, I think that's when you get into
I like the Chinese grafting tool because it grabs all the royal jelly and the larvae. You got the German one, and it just mostly gets the larvae. You don't get all that royal jelly with it.
Right.
With the bent tip. I don't know how you explain it.
and Philip here, he let me put this up. He needs help. Anybody know where Mike Hansen, how to reach Mike Hansen? I can't believe UVs.
Oh.
He's the Hives for Heroes raffle winner. Have not been able to reach. If anybody's out there can know how to do that. I'm looking at my stuff here.
I don't have any info on them.
Randy, I'll see y'all later.
Night, Randy. Yeah.
Yeah, Phil, that might be a good idea if he talked to Lee from Kodiak Farms. He usually has a tremendous amount of information on everybody.
Do you know what state he's from?
I don't know. 92, 94. We're having a good turnout tonight. All right, Scott, why don't you come on in here? Well, I need a few more people on the video here tonight. Make it interesting.
Yeah, I'm running out of information.
Scott, he's local in Pennsylvania. Let's let us see what's going on. Hey, Phil, why don't you come on in unless you're not driving the train tonight? Or driving. Last time he drove it off the railroad.
Yeah, just yeah, he's still too
There's
embarrassed.
no steering wheel in them trains, man.
Huh?
There's no steering wheel in them trains.
I know, but for some reason the damn thing went off the tracks and he unloaded 100,000 bushel of corn.
Yeah, he said it's bad
Those
track.
deer were eating good.
I don't know, Mike, whether he's with Hanson Bee Supply. Hey, Mike, why don't you come on in? You can talk about your pelletized
Yeah, Mike.
oxalic acid and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, where to use it and how to use it, as far as what type of, you know, vaporizer pan, vaporizer gun. All I got to do is click the link there and come on in. Now, I think you've been in here one other time. Hey, there's Lee. Hey, Lee. Philip is looking for.
Yeah, he responded.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he said he might be Hanson Bee Supply.
Hmm.
If he's if he's from Illinois, that's a good possibility. Because I looked him up online, and there's a David Hanson or in Illinois that with Hanson Bee Supply.
I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, don't know. So I'm trying to be most pre-active, pre-ready for spring as much as I can right now.
Yeah, I think we all are. Business is starting to pick up, so.
So yeah. I just got to figure out my nukes. How I'm going to do nukes this year.
Yeah, I'm going to do a few. I'm not doing a bunch because it's not the nukes themselves that's hard to deal with. It's the people that buy them, getting them to come pick them up.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. So, yeah, I sold one guy 15 nukes last year, and I called him and I said, "Hey, your nuke's ready to pick up." I said, they'll be, you pick them up tomorrow, which was a Saturday. And
right.
Well, I'm going to be out of town. I can't pick them up. Well, then you'll be getting them out of the trees.
Yeah, I had one that last year. The guy couldn't make it, and he came like Wednesday. Saturday they were good, and I knew they were huge. It was a big nuke, and I went to look inside of it the day before, Tuesday.
Yeah,
and there was no queen, and half the bees were gone.
Yep.
So I had to get another queen and get them introduced into it, and then I showed them the nuke. I said, "Thing just swarmed on you."
Yeah, that's why I just took those 15 nukes and put them back in hives, and said, I'll refund your money.
So I took a frame of brood from another hive, put it in there, got the bee population up, and then I put the queen in a cage. And I said, "Well, if something happens, let me know." He never called me back, so I guess everything worked out.
Yep.
I had to scramble to get that nuke back going, and that was the last nuke too. So I didn't really have any more nukes to swap them with.
There you go.
Yeah, I have no clue where that nuke went. It was gone. I knew it swarmed. It had to swarm on Monday or Tuesday morning. Yeah, I'm like Roy. I'd sell nukes too to buy more equipment. Oh, Russell wanted to know how my knee's doing. It's doing really, really good. I can walk a mile with no issues. Going up and down steps, mostly going down steps, it still hurts pretty good. No kneeling. I don't know when I'll be doing that, if ever. But
did you see that?
Get down there, you might not get back up.
Yeah.
Thursday afternoon for pickup, right?
Yes.
Thursday's the first day.
Yeah, for the first day and the last morning, first afternoon and the last morning. And they have to be picked up by noon on Saturday.
Right.
And where are you staying at, Bill? Are you staying at where
I'm
at?
staying right across from gate
4?
4.
You're at the Hilton then.
Yeah, I'm at the Hilton.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
That way, you just
Home
put my.
to Suite.
You
Home
just
to
put. Huh?
I'm staying at Home to Suites by the Hilton.
Home suite or
Home
garden?
to Suites.
Oh, okay, home 2 suite. Okay.
Yeah. So, same place I stayed last year.
All
I
right.
got lucky and got the room.
We can bring mine right out to my hotel.
I can do that.
Well, let's plan on it. That way, I don't have to.
Did he call you back this afternoon?
No, I'll have to call him up.
All right.
He's ding danging around too much, you know.
And I wasn't going to say that, but you're right.
Well, the thing of it is, you got to get stuff on the pallet, and you got to know what to put on the pallet and all
Yeah.
that, you know. And you only got a little bit of time to do it in.
So I'm going to have extra frames, extra foundation, some extra nail stuff, and I'm going to have some extra medium wooden frames to sell. So everybody come by and buy some, so I don't have to have it shipped home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm picking up quite a few frames from you, Bill.
Yeah. How many did you get? How many did you order?
I don't remember. 400?
400 hives.
400 frames?
Mm,
Would you sold them in packs? You sold them in packs of 52?
yeah, that was the deep frames. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I bought 10 of them. So maybe 500 hives frames. I don't remember.
What do you got?
8 or
Acorn, Tom.
Yeah,
I don't remember off the top of my head either.
I
Yeah,
don't either.
There's
I'd have to
50,
look it up on my phone.
there's 52 in a box.
Yeah.
72 mediums.
These were deeps. I have to replace, since I sell 20 or 30 nukes, I have to replace all those frames.
Yeah, you do. So Nancy, what is this guy interested in? 20 sets of what?
All right. So Bruce got a hold of Mike. That's cool.
What did I order? Here it is.
She's doing 2 frames of brood and a queen. That's how she's doing her nukes.
I bought 5 packages of 52. So 260 frames.
Okay.
258. Then I bought 5 10-frame boxes and 5 boxes of medium frames.
Yep, they're all on the pallet already. Got your name on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
50 of those.
she calls her sets or her nukes, you might call it.
Oh, okay.
And then Dennis, yeah, the demery, that's what I do. Honey, you'll pretty much you're close to producing twice as much honey per hive. I know I went from 50 pounds to 80 pounds. And that's all depends on the year and the season. And that's the only, it's more work, but and all that, but it's definitely the way to go. That's why I bought my hive lifting machine.
Yeah. Hey, Roy, all of your frames have been hand assembled with care by Santa Claus, and they're coming from my shop. So if you want to pay the LTL, I'll be glad to ship them to your house.
Pay the what?
Pay the LTL shipping.
What's that?
Limited truckload freight.
Oh. Hey, Jack and Danette. Hey, Amber. Yeah, Amber, I'm definitely gonna do a much better job of videoing that this year, hopefully. I think the problem I had this past year was my queen issues hit me kind of broadsided me there, and that kind of ended all that for me because I really didn't have to do a lot of demarine. I was trying to get them to build all the time.
Yeah, I'm the same way, Charlie. Since we'll be retired middle of April, I'm hoping to have more time to put some better quality content out there.
Dennis, I don't know if there's anybody at Nobby that's going to have any hive lifters. I think there might be some. I think that's what it was. John Hill was talking about it, where he might look into getting something built for him. But all I can tell you is from my own experience, I just went ahead and took the leap and bought that B3 model from what's his name up there in Manitoba, Canada. And I love it. If you ever want to talk to me about it, no problem. I can give you all the details. A lot of my videos give a lot of details about it. I try to be very in-depth about it so people can get a sense of what they're looking at. The one I got, you got to have more room behind your hive to operate it, at least 8 to 10 feet. And then the one that like Brad has up in Manitoba, which is more like a hand truck, it does not have to. And then Joey Rawls has one like Brad. Roy, my B1 lifter is a lifesaver. Yep. Roy has one. I see. Joey Rawls has one. You can watch some of his videos.
Yeah.
You cannot lift it, the hive from the front end because of if it has a landing board, you can't get in tight enough with that model. It's like a hand truck, where a hand truck, you always had your load, and load has to be tight to the back set of rails, the going straight up. Mine's more like a front end loader on a tractor. It kind of reaches and grabs the boxes.
Yeah, I only got 8 feet between my hives and my barn, so I'd have to go with the fork truck type one.
Yeah. That's the difference. I mean, they're both good. I think mine, I don't have to use the hydraulics. Set up your height on it. You go in, you grab the thing. You make sure your boxes broke the seal first, then grab it. And mine's like a teeter-totter. You just push down on the handles and it'll lift that box up. And then I can just back it up. I don't have to use
Charlie tuned.
Huh?
He says you got Charlie tuned. Balanced.
Yeah, you gotta get it balanced and everything.
Yeah.
Steve, he's got the B3 like mine. Okay, that's cool. I really enjoyed mine.
Yeah, I think 2025 I might be getting one.
I've never seen one anything from Great Britain, Dennis. There are other models over in the European area that are really, they're self-propelled and all this other stuff, because that's kind of the way they do things over there. But the cost of them are quite expensive, I think.
Yeah.
Scott, you were saying that the uncapper that John mentioned, one he was talking about is like the Harmony Farms uncapper with the 2 rollers that are slicers, but he was going to heat them with, I'll say, with steam. Let's say from a a wallpapering steamer or something like that. But I just don't particularly care for it. I've watched those same designs and other, I think, what was it? Man Lake or Better Be had one like that where you laid the frame flat and you did the hand crank and it went through and it went back and all that stuff. And you had to go back and forth a couple times in order to make sure that you cut all of the cell cappings. And I don't know. I still like the knives where they slice the cappings off.
Yeah.
That's, if you're going to buy, I'll never buy one like that, but if you had, like Tom and Melissa's got that license, which is an automatic, if you're going to go that far, the one with the hand crank versus the same model with it's all self-propelled and automatic, you might as well spend the extra, if you're going to spend $4,000, you better spend $6,000 and get it right.
Yep. Do it right the first time.
I've got a double heated V knife uncapper. I believe it's made in Ukraine. I don't know. I've never seen that. I'll tell you what's really kind of slick was Bracken out there in Utah. He found this guy. He bought this uncapper. It's a set of, knives going back and forth, and he hooked up a steam line to it or a hot water line actually off of a hot water tank. And I think it's either an old Daydan or Cowan model. Year is really old looking, and he attached it to a stainless steel tank that he made himself. And I was like, why can't we just make that and make it not so doggone expensive?
Yeah.
Well, John at Hilco is supposed to be coming out with something. He's working on it.
Yeah.
The problem is pricing.
What's that?
The problem is the expense and the cost. If somebody makes something and they can't sell it at a reasonable price, then it's just going to sit there on your showroom floor.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of it is in any manufacturing today, they got to take into account, am I going to get sued?
Yep.
Is somebody going to get hurt?
Right.
And they got to put that price of the insurance, the multi-million-dollar insurance policies they have to carry.
You got rollers rolling, you got knives moving.
Into the price of the product.
Right.
Yeah, but if the safety guards are built into it when you make it, and somebody removes the guards, it's their fault, not yours. Because they didn't maintain the safety aspect of it. So that's how I look at it.
And Doug was talking about if it ain't Chinese, there's no 100% tariff on it or whatever. Yeah, we got that looking at that. And I think Bill mentioned that about Formic Pro coming across the border from Canada, which is a Canadian product. Whether or not the tariffs go in effect or whatever, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I got an email from them. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen. Shoot, I keep hearing talk that Canada's become the 51st state. I heard that the other day again. I heard that actually on the local news.
Can I share my screen, Charlie?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I don't know. It
All right.
Yeah.
There it is. I don't know how to make it bigger, but that's the email from Nod Farms. And it says, over the last few years, Nod has done its best to maintain pricing and absorb costs associated with raw materials, transportation, labor, and exchange rates. Due to continued rising costs, we are increasing our wholesale prices effective March 1st, 2025. In addition, we are aware of possible tariffs imposed by the new U.S. administration and encourage you to order early. Current pricing remains in effect until February 28th, and we will honor these prices with shipping dates on or before March 3rd. The new pricing is coming out in the new year, and you know that if wholesale prices go up, your retail prices are going to go up too. So
yeah, I mean, I could buy it, but the thing of it is, I don't need it until the winter or till the fall of 2026.
5.
I got enough. I got
25.
enough right now that'll carry me through 2025.
So if you bought it in 2025, it should be good until 2027.
Okay. And right now it's what, $130 or $40, I think you're selling it for.
Yeah, it's $140 for a 30 pack.
Yeah.
Don't know what the tariff is going to be. They've said 25% in the past, but nobody's saying anything else.
Yeah,
So
who knows?
It's hard to tell. Until I start seeing a tariff, I'm not raising my prices. So when I see the tariff, then I'll raise the prices. So Richard, I got a couple of nice hollow tree trunks for my next colony.
I have one sitting in my yard right now with bees in it that I cut out this past summer. But in Ohio, it's actually illegal to have bees in a tree in your yard and keep them in there. But I couldn't cut them out because all the comb was brand new white comb
Really?
when I cut it out. So this spring I'll cut them out of the tree, and I plan to just put it all back together and keep it. See if any swarms fly in it.
So Nancy, what's the answer to the trivia question?
And what does NOD stand for?
Yeah. As in Nod Farms?
NORAD. Well, no, I don't know.
Nature's own design. Okay. That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Hey, Brad. Here comes Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Charlie, the only beekeeping I get to do is listening to you guys.
Yeah, I had to look at that picture on Facebook that you text me, and then I could see that it was actually a picture of what is it, the roadway in the town or wherever you live there. I guess that's where you live, right?
Yeah.
Well, then where your honey house is and stuff like that, is that out on a farm someplace?
Yes.
Okay, so you live in quote town. So you're kind of like out in the Midwest. You have a townhouse and you have a farmhouse, or you just a townhouse,
Yeah.
you know. So you've gotten
Yeah.
what,
I
3 or
said
4
good,
feet of,
I said goodnight to our bees 2 months ago.
oh yeah, 2 months ago. Yeah, well, they were
Yeah.
here today at 1 o'clock Eastern time. They were flying. Not a lot, but some, quite a bit. They were out in the front there. And then last Tuesday, it was about 60 degrees and they were definitely flying. That was the one where you said, well, this is what real winter looks like when you sent me that text.
Yeah, we'll be 61, about 16C tomorrow.
And all.
It'll be like a spring day.
Yeah.
We haven't been too cold. We're -3, -5 the last while, but lots of snow.
Yeah, it's been really wet in the Ohio Valley, but it's all been rain. We'd have
when I go sledding. When I go sledding, it's just like a boat in the water. The snow is about 2.5, 3 feet deep on the level out in the fields.
You said it was -5, you say?
Yeah. Yeah, we're not bad.
Yeah, that's 23 degrees. That's pretty cold.
Right.
No, it isn't.
I was going to say next week our lows will be probably about -7 C, about 19 degrees, 18 degrees.
Well,
Then
about 3
the
weeks
bees won't
ago,
need
we
that much
had
rain.
3/4 of an inch of rain, and everything, just all the side roads and everything are just a sheet of ice. We've had kids skating on streets with ice skates.
Really?
Wow.
Hey, Mike's Bees, won't you come on in and talk about your OA stuff? I just got a text from Philip. Philip, do you want me to post your number in the chat itself so Bruce can grab it? Is that okay? We'll see. No camera. What good is that?
No camera on my home computer. We used the
He's
phone.
shot.
Have to use your cell phone.
Yeah, he's shot.
That should have a camera.
All right. Let me see what I can do here with Philip.
Yeah, it's 53 degrees right now in south in my area, and the low tonight's supposed to be 53. It's not supposed to move the whole night. So what is that? 15C?
Yeah, the low tonight's but here is supposed to be 39. Right now it's 41 and light rain.
Eleven, 12C. Crazy warm. Yeah, so Doug, that's one of the problems I have is that my bees fly. It could be minus. It could be minus. The next week it could be minus. The high could be a -2. but tomorrow it's going to be 60. So 1 week they fly, next week they're tight as can be. Next week they fly, next week they're tight as can be. They just go back and forth.
Yeah.
All the
No, mine were done flying probably end of October, and we
Yeah.
might see them again in end of March.
Yeah, I'm right in that battleground. We get these, what they call them, polar vortexes from Canada. Then we get real cold for 4 or 5 days, and then we get a warm front from the Gulf of Mexico the next week, and then it's 50s, 60s, and raining. It just goes back and forth. And only maybe in January, 2 or 3 weeks in January, where it stays cold.
Philip's phone number, RTX honeybees.
Yeah, I used to wish we had your conditions to winter bees in, but I don't, you know,
No,
you guys know, not really.
I think the Ohio Valley is the hardest because we get, I mean, down south they're flying all the time, but they have flowers blooming almost all the time. Some, and it's dead winter right here. Nothing's flowering. Everything's dead. But then we have these warm weeks, and the bees fly, and those winter bees die. They fly for 2 weeks. They're dead.
Yeah.
Their wings are torn up. So somebody asked me Queen, I hope the Queen starts laying some brood here in a little bit just to replace the winter bees. Yeah. Yeah, I cracked open every one of them today just to see what they look, see if they had enough stores in them. They're going through it fast.
Most of mine will
Yeah,
be
this
buried.
time of year they will go through it quick. They'll eat the stores up really quick.
Yeah, because they're active.
Well, when they really use stores is when they start to brood, and then you'll go through your honey.
Yeah. I think mine had brood in it till about Christmas. And it finally all hatched out. They got capped and hatched out. It was so warm up to December.
I would say that's probably why your that big hive
Yeah.
ate all that food, is that it probably had enough bee power there to keep that brood hot.
Yeah.
And it burned it up to keep it hot.
Yeah, I think that's what happened, Charlie. That's why there's still bees in the bottom box and the top box. They're still using the whole thing.
Hey there, Brian Cage. Why don't you, Brad? Why don't you come on there and tell us about that hive you've been treating and everything down there? I know you guys. I know I watched the video. He's already still got brood down there. Of course, they got brood 12 months out of the year down there in Louisiana.
Yeah. I think they always have some brood.
Well, Brad's talked about 2 to 3 frames of brood 12 months out of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here comes Robert in. Here comes Philip in.
Philip. All right.
He got your phone number, Philip. I texted to him.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, Charlie. I was going to give you an update from last week when we talked last week.
Yeah, I researched that problem for you, too. Go ahead with your update.
Oh, I was just going to show you what happened last week as far as the foam, because we were there last week. Here, I'm going to turn my camera around for you. Give me a second.
Hey, while he's doing that, Charlie, how you doing?
All right there, Phil.
Yeah, I wasn't going to get on here, but I was having so much trouble trying to put in comments. Even when I would say, please text me, YouTube would block it. So anyway, but I did get a text. I just saw right then, just a couple minutes ago, I got a text from Mike Hansen. So I'll be able to help him. He won the fondant that Sandy Valley Honey Company donated. I didn't want to get on here because my voice is a little bit weak because I had a little day surgery today and they stuck that tube down my throat. So having a little trouble. It's not trouble. It's just
So they put a airway in you.
Yeah, they did. I've never had that done before, and I had a couple of little lipomas that I've had for years cut off. But when they told me they were going to do that, I was like, "What?" When they explained it to me, they do it on every.
I've done that. Put that shoehorn in you there, number 4 shoehorn with a light on it. Then take that tube down there and you slide her right down in there for you.
He told me that I wouldn't know it because they knock you out before they do it.
Oh,
They do.
They got it. That.
Yeah, the last thing I remember was that little. It looks like a. Anybody who played baseball is you. It looked like one of them cups that you wear. They put when that thing, it was clear, but when that thing went down over my nose, that was the last memory I had.
All right. So I can't believe you bees. Mike is on, so he's
on, and he's texted me, so I'm gonna get with him about how he can get his fondant and how he wants it. So I'm gonna step off of here so I don't. They told me could have a little bit of trouble, and it's just been a little.
Kind of scratch your vocal cords some.
Yeah.
All right, Phil. Well, we'll catch you later.
All right. We'll see you guys.
I'll see you next week.
Yep. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. All right, Robert. What we got? Let me take and put you on.
Yeah.
Front and center. I see the
this
phone.
was last week's, right? When we did it last week.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then here's this week. So I let it set for you for a week there, Charlie. Just for you, buddy. Now this has been at 52 degrees, so it's really thick. So it's only usually I run it right out of the heating cabinet, so it's about 100, 104.
Well, that's that's one of your problems right there.
What's that?
It's too hot.
Yep.
Way too hot. Because what's happening is when you had that hey, there's Brad.
So see, look, there's not a speck of foam in there after the week.
Yep.
Yeah, but I talked to my friend Lloyd, and he has now that didn't fill it all the way up.
No, because it's thick. I'd have to adjust it. I'm not messing with it right now. I'm just showing you. So I'd have to come in here and adjust this little trigger right here.
Right.
So I can do that. I can come over here and probably overfill the vein, but just do a guesstimate here. We'll see if it overflows.
All right. What he told me is when you have that stuff so hot, and when you were the last time, it was going through there and filling that bottle within seconds.
Oh yeah.
You're it's just like Todd said last week. You're pushing the air out of the bottle at a rate that it mixes the air into that bottle, into the honey. And I also had it here using my bottling tank. And when I had some stuff where it was about 100 degrees and it poured out her like water, and it sat there and churned the honey up to where it made a lot of air bubbles in it. And let's see if we're back to this. Whereas when I got it cooled down to, let's say, 85 to 92 degrees, like it is now, you don't have that churning. It's just right.
Yep.
And then you say, how thick is that, honey, or how hot is that, honey?
52 degrees.
Well, you needed to have it around 85 degrees, and it'll be just right. 85 to no more than 90.
Luckily, this machine's designed for paste. I bought it so I could do both honey and was hoping to eventually do the what's it called? The creamed honey. So
It'll work.
But anyway, I just wanted to show you that. And then I also had another one for you, but I don't know how many guys are doing. I know a lot of guys are buying fondant these days. I make my own, but I make it a little bit different than probably a lot because I'm making it for 50 hives. So I'm making it in 5-gallon buckets.
Okay.
And I can show you that real quick. So anyway, you get the point there.
Does that much fondant? Except
What's that?
I say I'm not sure whether folks really do a whole lot of fondant here. Either they're using Hive Alive or they're using none at all. They mostly sugar water. That's what I do.
Yeah. So
DC wants to know cold fondant or hot fondant. I never knew there was a difference.
So this is, I guess you call it hot because I'm boiling it.
Yeah.
So I take 50 pounds of sugar and I throw it in a pot. So I got 50 pounds of granulated sugar. And then I take if you want a 20, I can do a 25 because a lot of people are probably more like 25 pounds. I'm doing 50 pounds at a time. But when you do 25 pounds, that's 2.5 tablespoons of vinegar, your choice. And then I learned from a culinary lady that if you put in a different type of, like this being corn syrup, so I put a cup of corn syrup, or sorry, 2.5 cups of corn syrup in there. And I'm saying that wrong. I put 2.5 cups for a 25 pound. And what that does is, I guess it keeps the sugars the crystals from binding. So if you just do traditional, just powdered sugar, and you don't put any kind of corn syrup in it, what happens is it will turn real hard, almost like, eventually it will turn like almost like rock candy, or a real dense, hard sugar. But for some reason, I guess if you insert some other type of like corn syrup in there, the crystals won't bind.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put
Canola.
I take a quarter cup for 25 pounds. I take a quarter cup of oil, and once again, that's just to help it from binding. So when I'm done, I'll show you what the end product is. So what I do is I throw it I just dump it when it's hot into a 5-gallon bucket. And then I take this mixer that I got from Harbor Freight. It's just a paint mixer.
Right.
And I blend it with that. That's what I use for blending my sugar anyway. So what I do for my sugar, I mean, we're kind of on the same subject, is I always boil my water in here. I take it out and I dump it into 2 5-gallon buckets, and then I use this to blend my sugar. So I just use that same tool to blend the about every 5 minutes I go out and I blend it in a bucket. So I take a 5-gallon bucket and I just blend it every 5 minutes until it sets up. And then once it sets up, the next day, this one's already has some taken out of it, but you can see I just do it right there in the bucket. And then I will say, if you let it set and you don't bag it right away, like was bagged. I did this Monday. So it's been sitting out in the garage in the cold for whatever, 5 days. So what I do at that point, and I'm going to mute myself here so you can see it but not have to hear it. So I take a drill and I just blend it up with the drill. And
So is it creamy or is it watery or what?
It will be creamy. It's like mashed potatoes, like a powdered mashed potatoes. So that's real soft and creamy.
Baggy and put it on the hive.
Yep. So I take these bags right here, just a standard Ziploc bag, and I scoop that into it, and then I put that on. I cut the hole out just like the regular stuff. However, the difference is those guys are paying like, what is it, $8 a pound for
I don't think it is. Not that much.
What's one
How
bag?
much is it, Tom? You know?
Oh, I just bought some for Nabby.
Well,
I think it's like 6 something for a 2 pound.
Yeah, at Nabby or not, or no. Are you buying it at the discounted rate, or are you paying full retail?
No, discounted rate from Nabby. It was pretty low. I think it was from Better Bee. I have to look it up. It was almost as cheap as me making it. Time I spent all the energy.
I guess what I'm getting at is that's an anomaly, right? You're talking about going and getting a promotional price.
Yeah.
I can't really compete with promotional prices, but what I'm getting at is this is for 50 pounds. I pay $36 for 36 pounds. And then it's $4 for the syrup and another whatever, $3 for the oil. So in total, I have $7 I made 300 pounds, and I had, let's see, 2 bottles of syrup at $4 a bottle. It's $8. I had another $3 in the oil, and then I had so somebody can do the math on that, but was that $11 and then 300 pounds of sugar. So divide that out by your weight, and I think you're going to see it's like 75 cents a pound versus Hive Alive is whatever you said.
Right now, Better Bee has the Hive Alive for $80, $79.95 for 15
kilograms.
2.2 pound bags.
It
that's
comes to $2.40 a pound.
Yeah, it's $5.33 for a 2 pound package.
Yeah, you can't beat that price. That's for sure.
No, I bought 2 boxes of it.
All right, thank you, Robert. So Brad, when was that video you put it out today? How long has it been since you vaporized that hive down there?
Oh, that was yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, I put it out the same day I did it.
And how often have you been vaporizing that hive? Because it's been a problem child. I mean, you once a week or something, or
no, I've been trying to do it every 4 to 5 days.
okay.
So they done had 4 treatments so far, and I pulled it out. Let's see, it's been 24 hours today. I pulled it out this morning. I had like 10 mites on there, so they dropping. It's going down.
You got that recommended dose of 8 grams of OA. And all that.
Did you see how white they were when it was coming out the hive?
Well, the first thing is I'm looking at the video and I'm like, Brad, shut the front up. You got to keep all that on the inside.
Well, the thing is, I got some sticks stuck in there, and they've been in there forever, and they kind of like they all
well, stick a wet cloth in there and keep all that blowing.
It don't matter. I got them 8 grams going in there. They come out of there, they look like Snow White.
Hey Tom, how much did you say it was for the fondant?
$2 on it, Tom.
$2.39 a pound.
Yeah, so I just did the math on it. 77 cents is what it cost me to make it a pound.
Does that include all the heat of boiling and everything?
And
Oh.
your labor, you got labor's in
But you
there.
had to go
add
get
labor.
yeah,
And that-
And,
and that-
labor.
And
Your
that big old
time?
mess you got in your wife's kitchen.
now that's the benefit. The way I do it, there's no mess because it's all in the pan. I take it outside and I dump it in a 5-gallon bucket outside, and then I blend it, and then I usually bag it outside, so I don't have to worry about them cleaning up inside.
You got
Because
the
otherwise, that
cost,
murder me.
you got the cost of the plastic bag
Yeah,
and
Oh,
the time
man.
you're filling it.
I
mean,
still don't see how you're justifying two something a pound versus 70
It all depends.
pound.
It all depends whether you got time to do all that or not.
This
Yeah.
guy's retired.
Just
The guy that's
like
busting
me.
my chops is retired.
This is a tough
I'm
crowd.
not retired.
I'm not retired. So I mean, it's like me. I got lumber. I got all kinds of lumber, but I'm gonna go and buy boxes. The heck with making them. I don't want to put up with it. I'll put it to you that way.
I mean, you boil that for 20 minutes, don't you?
You took 40. You're telling me $4 a hive times 50 hives. That's $200. $200 is better in your financial math here than it is.
Well, you got to look at it this way. You go to the UPS truck. He drops it off at your door. You open the box. You go put in all the hives.
yes.
And then what you do is it's $200 like you're selling. All right, so that's 20 pounds of honey you have to. It's only 20 pounds of honey.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
20
Yeah.
pounds of honey.
And did you take into account the gas in your car to go to Walmart and buy that sugar?
It would have cost me $400 to do. It would have
People
cost
don't realize
my
they
50.
might have only spent 80 cents in materials, but by the time you buy the bag, by the time you go to shopping,
Yeah, and then they
Different
ask you to
materials.
round up at Walmart. You got to round
Yeah,
up, so you lose a few
I
more
bet
pennies
your
there.
cost is probably $1.50 a pound.
Hey,
But
Brad,
then-
you know what I tell them when they ask me to round up? I
What's
say,
that?
okay, well, you want me to round up for a college fund? How about we round down for my retirement fund?
And don't forget, last week you had the Santa Claus standing outside the Walmart door shaking that little bell.
Exactly.
That damn sugar cost you $5 a pound.
I do agree, Robert, that the normal price is a little pricey. And you could save a lot of money doing it yourself. But when they had the promotional Better Be did, I figure I'm spending about $1 more a pound.
Yeah,
In
but
my
you
estimate
can't
of
count
my cost.
promotional prices, Tom, because you've got to look at the everyday retail price of it. And I understand Robert's what
Yeah.
he's saying. He can do it himself because number one, he's got the time, he's got the way to do it, and he's not making a mess in the house. Which if I made
Right.
a mess like that in my house, my wife would kill me. So I'd be paying for a funeral too. But I understand what you're doing, Robert. You're saving yourself a few bucks. I get it. But, when you've been doing this long enough, you'll figure it out. Convenience is where it's at. And that's what it's all about is convenience. So,
And I
AC,
would probably have to do it 2 times, maybe 3 times to
yeah.
have enough of it. 2 times at least.
and
So-
day before yesterday, or no, 2 days ago, I went out there. I had 2 nukes that were a little kind of light. And instead of even getting online and ordering some Hive Life Fondant or going and make some sugar, I went over there to my honey bucket and I filled up 2 jars of honey and went and put it on top of the hives. I said, "That's a wrap, fellas.
There you go. Eat it up.
I'm going scouting."
I got a tip for you there, Brad, that you'll try it out and see what happens for Apricot.
Uh-huh.
Mark Miller, I talked to him I guess it was last night, whenever Christmas night. And he puts sugar, Apricot,
Mhm.
take a sugar shaker and sprinkle sugar on top of it.
To make them take it.
The bees will go, yum, yum. It's gone. I'm going to try that. I have never used Apricot yet, but he said you don't have that problem with crystallization or them
Yeah.
putting all that other stuff on there.
Well, like I said, the only problem I had with mites was those 3 hives that didn't take down the Apricot. I had 68 other hives that took it down, and the mites levels were either 0 or 1. And those 3 that built that propolis levee around the vapor guard and didn't touch it, it would look the same way as when I put it in the hive on the card. They just propolized that card all the way around and built a levee, I guess to contain it. And when I opened up the hive each time, it was just a solid little brick of crystallized apigard, and they were the ones with the high mite loads. So
Yeah, I took out fondant today, and one of the hives that I went to put fondant on, I noticed that there was no activity, and I cracked it open because all the other ones were moving, and I cracked it open, and I knew that they were my sacrificial lambs this fall, because they were getting robbed out by wasps and hornets, like by the hundred. I mean, it was crazy. I'd open up the lid, and like 100 wasps or hornets would fly out the lid of that thing. And so I thought that I kept putting honey on or sugar water heavy on them for a long time, and I knew they were not going to make it, but I thought they were completely robbed out. And I lifted that thing or opened up the lid, and it was solid honey from end to end. They're all dead, but it was solid honey every square inch of that entire box. It was strange because they must not even made it into the winter, because they didn't even eat anything. And there was one frame that was all pollen. So that also tells me that they didn't make it past the fall, into the fall. But that was pretty strange to see.
Well, even that one that I had, Charlie, the one with the high, the one that had thousands of mites on the drop. When I went into them yesterday, I don't understand it. There's no virus that I can see. No wing. You know how they get the little wing damage on the viruses, or
like
or
wing virus and stuff like
the
that.
spotty brood, or the nasty looking larva, or whatnot. There's none of that. She had a good pattern, and everything looked great, but just infested with mites. That first mite drop, man, I couldn't believe it when I pulled out that tray. I mean, it was just, the whole tray was just covered. You
And
couldn't
this is
almost
the one that didn't take the apigard?
Yeah, that's one of them that didn't take the apigard.
Well, maybe
So-
there's one thing about that, and is it formic or apricot? I forget what it is, but beekeepers have noticed. I'm pretty sure it's apricot, as I'm thinking about it. Beekeepers have noticed that the queen, after a treatment of apricot, the 4-week treatment or the 3-week treatment, whatever, it seems that the queen comes back laying and comes beautiful patterns and stuff. And they're wondering whether or not that is actually killing the viruses that may be in the wax or on top of the wax, let's say, on the surface of the wax. So maybe that's what you're experiencing. You got the bug, but the virus is, it's like Mark Miller was talking about, that
And you
maybe
see,
the bees and the bees and the Varroa are cohabitating, but the viruses is what's detrimental to it. And with the apricot, it killed the viruses for you, so you don't have any visible.
Because that's a 2 deep and a medium super hive. I mean, it's three boxes, and
I was looking at that. It's like, you got too much space on that thing.
Well, the thing is, whenever I was harvesting honey, I had left, since they were very mean. They had 4 supers of honey besides the 2 deeps, and they were so mean. I didn't want to deal with them. So I said, well, I'm gonna use that honey to put on, because I was making other nuke boxes and stuff. I said, I'm gonna use that honey to put on other boxes for the wintertime. And that's what I did. I took the boxes and I added them to some other hives. But they were so full of bees that when you crack the lid, the bees would just pour over the top.
Right.
And but it's so mean and so infested with mites. And I even put the Apagard, I put Apagard on the top and I cracked the boxes because she had brewed in 2 deeps. That was brewed in so I cracked the 2 bottom deeps and slipped a card in there. And then I slipped a card above the other one, and they propolized every bit of that Apagard.
I was going to say something else.
I mean,
I
they resistant to the virus, but not resistant to the mites.
Yeah, that may be. I don't know. So, Will, and welcome. I'm not sure whether you've been on my show or not.
I don't think I have. I started watching here maybe a month or so ago. And
Okay.
I think I drove down by your place. Are you off 154 in Maryland down there?
152.
152? Okay.
Yeah, where are you located at?
I'm in York County, Pennsylvania. I'm in a little town called Goldsboro up along the Susquehanna River up there.
Goldsboro. Is that north of Harrisburg or
South. I'm kind of halfway in the middle between Harrisburg and York.
okay.
Along the river down there, right across from 3 Mile Island.
Oh, okay.
But I went down there. There's a guy in Joppa, Maryland that sells plywood cutoffs and stuff like that. And I went down and got a bunch of that. And I went zipping by your place and I was like, hey, I just started watching you. And I was like, hey, I think that's Sawmill Charlie. So
Yeah.
I wanted to hop on and say hi. And then, Bill, I bought a pile of frames from you. I'm picking up down there at Navi next week.
Yep.
So, and we
You
actually
bought
have
medium
stands
frames,
back. What's this?
right? You bought the medium frames.
I bought mediums and deeps.
Okay.
I think I got something like 23 cases. So
Yes.
yep. But we have stands. I got a vendor stand down there. I think we're back to back. I'm 241. I think I'm backed right up to you.
I don't know. I'm booth 430.
Yeah, like I said, I think we share a back wall, but so
Okay.
so I thought this was a good chance since I think I drove by Charlie's place and bought frames from you and started watching here, about a month ago a little bit.
Yep.
Thought it'd be
Well,
good to
welcome aboard and
Yeah.
subscribe and all that stuff. And the next time you come by the house, stop in.
yeah, I'll do that.
Hopefully, I should be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you ever
all
get
that.
down to the Shenandoah Valley, Virginia, come by and see me.
Yeah, I'd like to see your store. I'd like to get down. I know you've been talking about some classes and everything, but I know you're right down 81 there, but we're probably a pretty good haul from each other. I think we're probably 4 or 5 hours.
No,
No?
no, you're about, let's see, if you're up at York or Harrisburg, I'm about 2.5 hours. Well, let's say no more than, let's see, 4 hours to Harrisonburg. So I'm about 3 hours to Bill's place. And that's depending on traffic and stuff.
Okay.
So I can
And then
go
you're coming from York.
Carlisle from my store in less than 2.5 hours.
Oh, okay, that ain't bad. Because I'm only 20 minutes or a half an hour away from Carlisle. So
Okay.
You're about 3 hours from Bill's place.
okay.
Yeah. Depends on traffic.
Okay.
So what, how many hives you got, Will?
I'm running 42, 44, something like that right now.
Okay.
So I got
Okay.
some small ones that I know aren't going to make it, but I got everybody put to bed. And here 2 weeks ago, I snuck through when we had temperatures like 46, 48, something like that. So I slapped a oxalic acid on them.
Yeah.
Gave them one. I'd love to sneak out here. I think we're going to see 50 up at my place here in the next couple of days. I just don't know. Trying to get ready for Nobby. Just, don't know that I'm going to be able to sneak around and hit them quick.
Well, I hit mine today.
Oh, did you?
43 to 45 degrees.
Okay.
And all that. And I don't know if it's my program is I try to vape them twice a month, November, December, January, and February.
Okay.
and keep
I'm
them.
probably going to hit mine Sunday or Monday because it's supposed to start cooling down a little bit. Probably Monday. It'll be, I think Sunday's still 52. Maybe Sunday.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you know, my thing is, I used to be at 48 degrees. The bees, the cluster is loose, but the bees they're starting to fly a little bit at 48. At 45, the cluster is loose, but they're not flying. And and I block my fronts up and my underpinning, and then I blow through the back end of the hive. I try to keep as much vapor inside the hive as possible.
Yeah, I agree. I have the back of my bottom boards drilled and
That's
hit them
what
from the backside. That way you're not in their face, you know. But it's funny when Brad was talking about white bees because they, you know, at those temperatures, they did come out on the front and a whole bunch of them were white.
Yeah.
Hmm. I do mine from the back too, and they'll come out that front porch, solid white.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those bees are well treated.
Yep. Without a doubt.
Yeah. I do the same thing from the
Are you-
bottom
Especially,
toward the
especially with
back.
especially with 8 grams.
What for vaporizer are you using that you're pounding 8 grams? My compact only put 4 in at a time.
Well, I do it twice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
When I
Put 8 grams in there like 2 days apart, be perfect, right?
I only do 4 of my other hives, but that hive is really infested, and so that's why I've been pounding them because they've been I don't know if you heard, but the first time I pulled out, have a bottom board slide out,
Mm-hmm.
I must have had a couple of thousand mites dropped
Wow.
on that board the first time,
Wow.
and it's been getting less. Like this last time I pulled it, I might have had 100. So it's
tenfold.
getting less.
Well, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're knocking them down.
Now, Darren he said you're 2 hours from Bill, 130 miles. And Darren
Okay.
lives up in Pennsylvania there around, I'll say, State College.
Okay.
Darren's coming to the grafting class. I'm going to be coming to the grafting class. You can make it if you wanted to come.
When
So
is
what-
that?
It's in
It's
April.
in April.
Oh, I should look at that then. Yeah.
It's a
Uh,
2-day class.
What's that date, Bill?
I don't have it in front of me right now, Tom. Ask me down at Nobby and I'll have everything in front of me.
Yeah, because I retire on the 17th.
Oh, congratulations.
17th of April?
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. Let me look at my calendar. It might be.
I'll look at it here.
Yeah, it's the 12th and 13th of April.
Yeah, that's what I got.
That'd be my last week of work. Well, maybe I'll be retired then.
It's called slick leave.
Yeah.
You'll be sliding uncontrollably into retirement by then.
Oh, I'm already cruising.
So,
I was going to retire at the end of the year, so I'd be retired right now. But my wife wanted me to work a few more months. So I told her I would.
In February, I have a splits class. So,
In a few months, she'll tell you to work another few months.
No,
Yeah.
not this time, Brad. This is it. I am done working for the man.
so what are you doing with? I mean, obviously you're a honey producer, Will, or nukes, or what?
I'm doing honey, selling a little bit of honey this year, and making some woodenware, making a feeder screen that has you can put jars on it, you can see down in without the bees all coming up at you, and made a bunch of candy boards, or making some candy boards. I make a candy board that's got 1 inch of insulation in it, and then it's got about 1 3/4 inches of sugar in it. Like a 10 frame will hold about 15 pounds of sugar. And then it's got 1/2 inch cloth over it. And then I put a 7/16 rim around it. And then that sits right on top of the top of the brood box for the winter.
And you were
so.
saying that you got a booth at Nobby?
Yeah, yep. I jumped in a little deep, but I just kind of decided, bee wise, or being in this, I want to make wooden wares a piece of it. I want to sell queens and sell nukes and sell honey, and thought, it's an opportunity to jump in there and see if I can get some people interested in my feeder screens and maybe my bottom boards. And we made a cool little camouflage wrap for around the hives and stuff. So
what's the name of your company or booth or whatever?
It's Toothaker Apiaries.
Okay.
And I have a website that has some stuff up on it as well. But I'm pretty much just getting started into things, trying to make my hobby a little more than a hobby.
Yeah.
Well, with 42 beehives, you've made it more than a hobby.
Yeah.
Was it very expensive to get a booth at the show?
For a 10 by 10, Bill got a bigger one, but a 10 by 10 was like $475, I think, is what I paid for it.
Okay.
Yours was a little more than that, Bill.
Yeah, it was quite a bit more.
So you live in what,
Goldsboro, Edders area.
Goldsboro?
Yeah.
Well, if anything, you'll definitely get some advertisement and stuff.
Yeah, you will. You'll definitely get advertising, and I'll tell you what, Nobby will put you on the map.
Well, I'm hoping to get on the map a little bit and to network with people, and I'm excited to meet you guys. You know what I mean? And I was excited to be right behind you, Bill, booth wise and stuff like that. So seeing how I bought a pile of frames from you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if you see a fat coon-ass looking guy walking around, just say hi because it'll be me.
The talk's a little funny.
Yeah. Well,
You gotta come up,
it's
come over to
you
the booth,
guys.
Brad.
It's you guys that talk funny.
Oh, we're the
I
ones
talk
that
normal. And whenever some of you guys come down to Louisiana, we say like, "Did you hear that dude speak?" You don't know proper English.
Yep.
No, if you're around the booth, Brad, stop by and say hi.
Oh yeah, I will. Don't worry. I'm coming look at that enamel hive you got there.
Yeah, we're raffling one off.
Oh, okay.
So
What an
and we're going to
analogy.
have one in the silent auction for the one that he does for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going to have one in there too for him.
Oh, okay.
For King.
Hey, Rick. Good to see you again. Rick Sutton.
Well, we got another week before we go down there. What's today? I'm lost track.
Today's
No.
Friday.
Today's Friday. Okay, I lost track of time.
It's easy
I'm
to
heading
do when
down.
you're out there treating bees all the time, getting stung.
I know, right? And when they sting you right underneath the fat part of the arm, boy, it hurts.
Like hell, doesn't it?
Good grief.
We don't have to worry about that up here. We usually got a little more clothes on than that when we're treating this time of year.
Yeah. I got stung yesterday between my two fingers, right in the webbing.
Oh,
That was
That's
a
what you
different
get.
spot.
That's what you get for trying to reach in there and get some honey.
yeah.
The bad part is, Brad, they've eaten all their honey.
Oh, dang.
So, Will, you running what, double deeps or single deeps or?
Yeah, singles and doubles. It's a combination of both right now. So I don't know. It seems like I end up. I don't know. I got hive beetles up here too. Pretty good. And it seems like the more I can press them down into a tighter space, the better.
Mm-hmm.
So a bunch of them were twos, but I pushed them down to one wherever I could. Pulled frames and pushed them down. So I'm going to say probably 3/4 of mine are actually singles. So
I wish we would get cold enough to where we could run singles, but we got to have two deeps full of honey for them to last all winter, or they'll starve out in February.
Yeah. I'm going to lose some just because they were too small, and I got greedy and split a couple to little, later in the year than I should have. So, but that's when you do that, that's what happens.
All right,
What's
Darren up in State College, he wants to know, do you insulate your hives?
I put that candy board on. It's got an inch on top of it, and then I put all my telescoping covers. I usually put at least an inch in them, if not 2. So they've got, let's say in the rough, they got 2 inches of foam on top of them total. And then I wrap them with Seal Tech makes I think it's a 3 millimeter. It's like a double bubble, only I think it might be a little better than the run of the mill double bubble. I put a wrap of that around the sides of it, and then I put tar paper around the sides of it. And that's my solution for winter now. I block off most of the bottom entrance, and I do run an upper entrance for them inside. The candy board's got an open, a little 3/4 inch hole, or it tapers down to like 3/8 of an inch, but I do run a little hole up top, whether you want to say it's for venting or whether you want to say it's an upper entrance.
So you got single with a candy board on, and you got insulation on top of that. You say some polystyrene or what?
Yeah. It's some of it's that green king board, some of it's that there's a white one as well. But I put inside the candy board, the one that I have in there is a foil backed stuff.
When you say candy board, are you talking about like what David Burns makes there, that lid with the candy in the top of it?
Similar, only I don't candy my sugar. I mix like a cup of 2 to 1 or close to 2 to 1 with 10 pounds of sugar and put some vinegar in it. And I mix that up to like snowball consistency, and I pack it in.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what I leave on. And above that is like an inch of the foil backed foam insulation to help. It seems like the condensation's usually kind of on the outer edges, and it seems like that sugar collects out water, and it kind of helps them digest the sugar a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what there's an inch in the candy board, and then there's at least an inch, if not 2 inches in the tea cover on top.
Yeah, because the candy it's kind of like what I make. I was where, like you say, 10 pounds of sugar and a cup of water and a little bit of vinegar in there and mix it up like snowball, and then you pack it down, and then it'll dry out to where it's hard.
Yep.
What does the vinegar do for you in the dry sugar?
I think it keeps it from molding. And I don't want to sound hateful, but I'll put a teaspoon or 2 of bleach in there too when I mix it. Yeah. Because you don't want, the last thing I'd want to do is to pop that off and have molded and be black or something like that. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
I know some people that put a tablespoon of bleach in a 5-gallon bucket when they make like 1-to-1, or especially because it's so thin, it'll get moldy in the heat and stuff.
Yeah, I do that when I make my 1-to-1 or I don't think I put it in my 2-to-1, but in my 1-to-1 I was mixing it because it's more apt to get moldy on you. So I'll put it, I think they say you can put a teaspoon per gallon in there.
Mm-hmm.
But it vents off so fast that it doesn't stay with it long.
Yeah, the Fat Bee Man talked about that 15 years ago, putting a couple drops of bleach in there, and basically it's the same thing as a bees going to like a swimming pool and having chlorine. Mm-hmm. It kind of killing any bacteria, cleaning the gut out and stuff like that.
Yeah, we have a bird bath that we use for water in the summer, and we put 2 teaspoons of salt in it and stir it up.
Salt?
Same idea.
Yep, table salt.
Yep.
Yeah, because around here, I haven't seen one yet, but there are some people that have those salt swimming pools.
Yep.
And bees are all over them. They like that salt.
Yeah, Will, I don't add anything to my sugar bricks in the wintertime just because it's wintertime and there isn't any mold. But
Okay, well,
I do in the summertime when I feed 1-to-1 or 2-to-1.
mhm.
You know,
I
add the
I
vinegar
mix
and
it
bleach.
in. Yeah, when I'm mixing for my candy boards, I'll mix in, like I say, it's a cup of 2-to-1 or whatever syrup I have, and then I'll put the vinegar and I'll put, a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons in that 10 pounds.
Yeah.
And I think I mean, I'm going to have some at Nobby that are poured. I'm going to bring a 5, an 8, and a 10. And I mean, I've tasted it, smelled it. It seems like after a couple of days, the majority of that bleach all goes away.
Right. Yeah, evaporates.
I do
Yeah,
my
just trying to be safe.
I do the sugar bricks if more for emergency thing, I will put in a tablespoon of vinegar or something like that in there, white vinegar.
Yeah.
Now
Speaking of Nobby,
my
Nobby, do they
my
let
you're talking about the
1,
vinegar.
2, 3. Try it again.
I try not to put any protein in it for what I'm in my candy board, just to keep their guts, hoping to keep their guts better for them.
at Nobby, do they let you pick up your pre-orders the first day?
Usually
That's
the
who it
first
is.
afternoon and the last morning.
That's when you pick up the pre-orders?
Yep.
Okay.
I think it's most any time, I guess, really.
Some people were funny with it last year, depending on your last name, they scheduled you out for different days, but I think it depends who it is.
Yeah.
The vinegar, I don't know. There was Master Bee. What's his name? It was over there next to you, Bill. Billy.
Billy,
Shoot, whatever his name, Billy. He said that the vinegar makes the sugar acidotic, I think, and
yes.
the bees will not haul it out the front door as trash
Right.
and all that. That's where I always heard about it.
And they
I
need that
think in
little
my
bit of
colonies,
vinegar. They
Huh?
need that. They need that little bit of vinegar to clean the gut.
Yeah.
yeah, the white vinegar. I don't do the apple cider or anything funny like that. I try to be real careful that I'm not messing their guts up for the winter.
Yeah, I mean, I sometimes the apple cider vinegar. I think that was more of a throwback of the nature's
Okay,
the tree
Yeah.
hugger,
the tree hugger part.
Yeah.
the bee
I-
hugger, the bee hugger.
I've got hives that the majority of them don't haul any of that sugar out, but some of them do. I mean, out of those 40 hives, I think I've got probably half a dozen where you'll see they're dragging some crystallized sugar. There's going to be some that falls down when you put it in. It doesn't all perfectly stay formed. And I've seen a couple hives, but the majority of them don't, haul it out.
Right. I don't know. Now, do you say you're selling these here sugar boards or?
I'm going to bring a few down to sell. I've got them. I've got them up on the website, but I got a kind of revised version that I made now that has a rim on the bottom of it. But I'm going to bring some down to sell. I'm going to try and bring down 30 10 frames and a few 8 frames and a few 5 frames to see if anybody's interested in them,
But that's where you just get the frame and then you pack the sugar in, right?
I'm going to bring a couple that are packed so you can see what they're like, but no, I'm not selling them packed. That would add up weight-wise in a hurry.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 15 pounds in a 10 frame is what it ends up being.
Mm-hmm.
So
Anyway, but So you're kind of getting into the bee supply business or specialty business, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, kind of the specialty. I don't want to sell boxes and I don't want to be in frames and stuff like that, but the special stuff.
Everybody's in that stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I can't beat, making that stuff. I can't get just the specialty stuff, trying, to help things out that way.
Well, that's like we were discussing here previously about buying this and making this. And it's like Bill buys these boxes. Well, he's buying it from a guy that's what he specializes in.
Yep.
He's got the machinery to do the joinery, and he's got the machinery to do the frames, where he's mass producing it. And in order to make it cheaper, you've got to be able to somehow do it, hundreds of them an hour in order to keep the price down.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm struggling a little bit. I bought a bunch of boxes. Rossman had a deal in there for deeps and mediums for like $9 a piece, but you got to put them together and then you either got to paint them or you got to get them dipped. So,
Were they any good?
I don't know that yet. I'll be able to tell you here come second week of January, but
So were they finger joints?
no, they were not. They were just rabbited, it looked like.
Okay.
So I'm going to see what they're like. I kind of, most of the box stuff, I've been trying to buy them already put together and wax dipped. And then you just put them in the field. But I bought a bunch that I painted then, and then I'm going to give this a try and see how it is. So I'm not sure that it's the best way to spend my time right now, but I'm going to give it a whirl, see how it turns out.
But that's the key. What you just stated there, the best way to spend your time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what most people don't quite get.
Yep.
Find those, like we were talking about this fondant thing. If you can find those deals where it's a good price, then, you buy it in bulk if that's what you're using to get the good price. And then you can go on and, like Brad says, you get, the UPS guy drops it off, you take it out of the box, you put it on the hive, you're done.
Right.
Yep.
On to do something else that needs to be done.
Well,
You're
and the other thing is, and kind of what I'm trying to do, it's, you got to make it for yourself too, let alone if you're making any extras to sell. You know what I mean? So I had to make the balance of what candy boards I didn't have, you know what I mean, from last year to get to this year, and then make extras to try and take down there and to sell. And yeah, it's a real struggle with what's the best way to spend your time.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And you'll figure out once you get into selling bee supplies, you'll find suppliers that can actually do it cheaper than you can.
Oh, I'm confident. Yeah, I believe you there, Bill. I think you're spot on because it's hard to beat a man at what he's, perfected. You know what I mean, or what he's gotten real efficient at. That's not a game to jump into.
Right. And I mean, the guy gets stuff he gets a couple tractor trailer loads of it a week to make boxes out of and frames out of.
Yeah.
And spacers and tops and inner covers and everything else. And I get a really good price on it. That's why I'm able to hold my prices down as low as they are.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right. Yeah, when I can drive down to Louisville, walk to the Better Bee booth, pick up 2 boxes, walk out to my car, and then drive it back on Saturday. I can't beat that.
I can drive over to Carlisle and pick up 2 dozen, deep boxes that are already wax dipped and ready to roll. All I got to do is drive over, throw them in the back of the pickup, and bring them back.
I wax dip my own. And it's
Oh,
not
do you?
cheap. Yeah.
What's Carlisle, Will?
What's this?
Well, what's in Carlisle? A box?
There's a guy that has a little business over there. It's called Walnut Farm Bees. And he's got a nice little business over there, and he's got nice, it's nice wax dip boxes and stuff. And again, it's trying to figure out what it makes sense to build versus what makes more sense just to pick
Well,
up.
I mean, everybody talks about, oh, I'm gonna do dipping myself and whatever, but what they don't, when you look into it, and you got to buy that crystalline, and you got to buy the wax, and then you got to buy the tank and the fuel to burn that thing. There's a lot of money invested in that thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to get into that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a guy up here in Westchester that Nancy, that club up there. There's a guy in there that has a burner. He's out there at like 4 o'clock in the morning to preheat that sucker. He works it probably till 5 o'clock in the evening. This is summertime type of thing, and you can only do so many, depending on the size of the box, so many boxes per load. So for, I don't know how many minutes it goes in there. Let's
15.
say 10 minutes, 15 minutes. All right. So you only got 4 loads an hour and all that. And it's cheaper to pay that guy than it is to do it yourself.
Yeah, it is.
That's like I say, I'm not sure this is the swiftest move, but I'm going to give it a try and see how it works out. Well, and then he gets, the guy over there in Carlisle, I think he gets $4 or $5 a piece to dip a box. You know what I mean?
$5. I charge $5.
Yeah, I think that's what he charges is $5.
$4 or $5 is the going rate from what I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom, are you seeing that when you wax dip, does it boil most of the glue out of the joints?
No glue. I've never had the glue come out.
Okay, because I have seen that some of these boxes, I've seen that some of these boxes, they're slippery as hell, frankly. When you stack them on top of each other, they get real slick, is what I've seen. And I had made some migratory covers and took them over to a guy and had him dip them. And it almost seemed like it cooked the glue out of them. Now, maybe that was too hot, or maybe it wasn't quite the right thing, or maybe I didn't let the glue set long enough. It sat a couple days, but maybe that's not enough,
Right.
So what kind of wax is he using to dip it in?
I don't know that. I don't know that exactly what it is.
What are you using, Tom?
I use a stainless steel tank.
What kind of wax?
Microcrystalline.
Yeah.
A little bit of profile, mostly microcrystalline.
I was hoping you were going to say microcrystalline.
Well,
Yeah,
there's two that they blend together, isn't there?
I used to blend. I don't blend anymore. That's paraffin.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I might run about 20% paraffin or 10%, but that's about it.
One
All
of
right,
them,
Tom,
one of them's got a low.
maybe the difference is in glue. You got to be Type Bond 3.
I do Type Bond 3.
Yeah, that's what I use. So
Now, Tom out there and via Honeybees, he's got a dipper and all that. I don't know what he uses in there as far as the wax part of it.
Yeah,
I've never had a box come
use
apart.
Type Bond 3.
yeah, I use the Type Bond 3. I'm wrestling right now with whether I want to upgrade from a 1/4-inch crown staple gun and go to the ring shank.
Don't go to a ring shank. Go to a 3/8-inch crown staple.
Oh, the
by
bigger
1.5 inches long.
Okay.
Because that 3-inch crown staple holds a lot better than the ring shank nail, and it holds a whole lot better than the 1/4-inch staple.
Yeah, before I put these boxes together, I want to dial in on that a little bit.
Yeah, I can tell you that from experience. 1/4-inch crown it ain't big
Not
enough.
enough.
It's nothing.
It's
Yep.
nothing. Even I used them to put just some basic shims I made up real quick from, just butt jointing them and all,
Mhm.
and they'll pull apart. And I want to hit and put a screw in there to keep them, because they're just some, homemade stuff. And anyway, the 3/8 crown is what you're looking for. And how long are those? Isn't it like 2 inches or inch and a half or more?
We use 1.5 is what we use, and we even use 1.5 on the frames.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now,
And we
Tom, Tom says here he uses. Where's it at? I can't. Where's it at? There it is. He uses Hive Guard wax from Jed Thorne. And he cooks 300 degrees for 5 minutes.
I think that's the blend that I've seen out there too.
The paraffin makes your boxes slippery, and it's a thicker wax. Where the microcrystalline will get in there. It gets in every little groove.
Yeah. I have heard one commercial guy used to dip, and he would complain about that the boxes would get hot and they would slide, because
only the first year, not even the first year, just the first couple months. Once the bees get their propolis on it, they don't slip at all. In fact, I think now they're tighter than regular boxes after a year or two.
So Wes says it's the quality of the wood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's got a lot to do with it.
So are we talking a different type of pine other than white?
there is no quality in wood today.
Well, the thing is, if you've got a clean white pine box with very few knots in it, it'll take the wax better.
Yeah,
But if you've got a lot of wax, that
How about
when
cypress?
you dip it and boil it at 300 degrees, it pulls all that sap out of the knot.
yeah.
How about cypress wood? Would that be better for wax dipping?
It is. That's the best wood to cypress dip. I mean,
Well-
not to wax dip. It's like
Yeah.
You gotta
Depends on the
watch
growth rate.
that. You gotta watch that because I learned that. My brother learned that the hard way. There's two types of cypress.
Mhm.
There's the ones that are these boxes is most likely land-based cypress
Yep.
that is grown on the land, which won't last much better than southern yellow pine. Well, actually won't last as good as southern yellow pine. Whereas the true cypress that everybody thinks about
Swamp
as far
cypress.
as high quality, that's the ones that come out of the swamp down there next to Brad. Brad ought to know about all this stuff here. He's Cajun.
Mhm.
Yeah,
We don't hardly have too much land-based cypress. It's been the one that was there has been logged so many years ago that
Mhm.
mostly all that's left is it's what's in the swamps and the bayous and stuff. They got rid of that years and years ago. It got turned into farmland and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
we do have cypress mills around. Matter of fact, they got a guy that has a mill about 30 minutes from me, and he gets the real swamp cypress, and he has some beautiful wood too.
Yeah, but it's expensive.
I'd have to check the price, but it's not that expensive. But you buy in rough cut. You have
Well,
to-
the thing of it is like everything else. You guys have cypress down there.
Mhm.
Up here, we don't have cypress, so
Yeah, we
we'd
don't
have
have
to
cypress.
I'd have to ship all that stuff. Well, that just doubles the price because I had one guy
Yeah.
up here. He wanted cypress, and I forget how much it was, and he was from Florida. Well, he's used to buying it for dirt cheap, and because it's in the area. And I said, well, you got to look at shipping.
Mhm.
And all.
It's the same thing though with our pine because we got white pine and yellow pine is better than white pine.
Yeah, it's the hardest of the pines.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now,
Because-
see, that's another thing. We don't have southern yellow pine,
Oh, really?
and it's pricey. I guess maybe that's what he was talking about. I think that might have been as what it was.
Hey,
said, well,
Jerry, You should have cypress trees that grow in your area. They grow in my area.
Not my area.
Not
Not
the
no
land,
cypress around
the
here.
land cypress do. That's native to the Ohio Valley, probably in your area.
No,
No,
nope.
I mean, around here, white pine is, but you know what? All the pines I have on my mill, I buy them. Comes all
Mhm.
from Vermont.
All I know is we got a lumber yard that sells the yellow pine, and I made boxes out of that yellow pine when I first started. And I made boxes because they ran out of yellow pine. I bought white pine, and those white pine boxes are rotting like crazy compared to the yellow pine.
Yeah.
My yellow pine boxes are still like the day I made them, but that white
Well,
pine.
they're harder, but they're also heavier.
Mhm.
Yeah, they are.
And I'll tell you one thing. Anytime I mess with that darn yellow pine, I put leather gloves on because it don't matter. But it's the slightest little, you can rub your hand like that and there'll be a splinter there. And I mean, it'll jab you something terrible. And got something in that yellow pine. It just makes it burns when you finally get that thing out of your skin.
It's all that sap.
Our
It's all
local
pine
lumber
sap.
yard, our local lumber yards will sell the yellow pine, and they have white pine too. But the Lowe's and the Home Depots and stuff, they only sell the white pine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, I buy clear white pine. I'm like, I'm talking 1 by 12, 16 feet long, and there might be a knot on there that might be the size of a quarter.
Mhm.
And I'm like, where in the world did you find this tree at? And I'm buying a couple thousand board feet of it. And it's coming from Vermont. That's all I can tell you. I don't know what kind of pine trees they got up there, but it ain't nothing like what we got. Ours has got knots every 4 feet.
Yeah.
And all that stuff.
yeah.
So when it comes to barn siding, knotty barn siding, number 2, and the clear white pine and the southern yellow pine, I just pick a phone up and say, send me this, send me that. And it all comes from up north in pine country. They must have a better grade of pine. And then, it's like everything else. Like you're back to that same situation. If you got somebody else that's doing something that's all they do, they get it to the point where it's cheap.
I think
Well,
you're
Charlie's seen my boxes, and he saw them,
They're different,
and that's a select grade lumber.
but
And
the joinery is different. That's what's
yeah,
interesting.
it's all blind dovetail joint.
I think the way they're
Oh.
manufacturing those pine without the knots is the way they plant them.
Yeah,
Because they do the same thing down here. They'll go and they'll plant them in these lines, real thick, real close together, to where the pine trees stay small and grow really tall.
yep,
And then they come back, and when they're tall like that, they don't have any lower branches. They just shoot for the sky. And then they come back with these huge cutters, and then they start cutting rows in those pine. And then they'll come back a couple of years later and thin them out again until they got big trees that are 30, 40 foot tall and no branches all up the tree and straight like an arrow.
yep, and 12 to 18 inches around.
Yep.
And they grade those trees by the diameter, depending on their high speed sawmills and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And it's amazing how many they just destroy. They don't even use them for pulp. They just get a machine that goes in there and turns them into sawdust, to thin them out.
Yep.
They don't use them.
When we go down there to Georgia for getting bees, they do the same thing. They go in there and they plant them real tight. And then they'll go in there and they'll start a fire. And it goes up and burns them limbs off or something like that. It doesn't kill the tree or nothing. And they put it all out the way I get it. Then, like you say, they'll go in there and they'll thin that place out to get all the caully trees that ain't no good.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of them things. And then they, go on to the point where they're trying to either making telephone poles or they're trying to make lumber and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's about 10 minutes 11 here. We went over a good bit of time. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go
I'm about ready to jump off.
I'm gonna shut the chat down. Everybody else that's on the Will, you can just hang tight.
Oh, I'm gonna jump, but
You're gonna jump.
look forward to meeting a bunch of you guys next week.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
good.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll see you.
All right, see you,
Yeah.
Will.
See
I'm
ya.
hopping off too.
All right. Well, everybody
All right,
else,
well,
we're gonna
have
shut
a good
down.
evening. We'll see you next week.
Yep.
Everybody, see you next week. I will not have a show next Friday, obviously.
And I will.
You're not gonna
I'll
do a
be
live
happy
with the
to
steam
Monday.
stream
You're
team?
going to be Monday. It might be abbreviated for me. I'm not sure.
Hey, Brad, I'll do a live from the Hive Some Heroes.
Oh yeah.
I'll try.
Okay.
Oh, Mike's Bees, you need to get yourself a new video camera for your computer so you can hop on and join
Yeah.
us and all that. And appreciate that. And I'll see you next week for sure. And Mike Hill, I have not seen you before, but thanks for coming in.
Yep.
And Dennis, it's good to see you're back. And come on back in 2 weeks. I'll be back on. Actually, I'll be on Monday night with Bill. And Bill is Bees All Day, right?
Yep. Bees all day.
Bees
Go
all
ahead.
day.
Subscribe to Bill's channel, Bees All Day YouTube channel. He has his talk show on Monday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I also help him out like he helps me out on Friday nights and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, there's other chats on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturday nights. Usually Joey Rawls is on RAWELS. I think it is. I think it's just Joey Rawls on YouTube. So
And every now and then Brad from Faith Apiaries.
Yeah.
Brad, he was on today in the middle of the day, I think.
Yeah, I seen
I
him and
caught
Bob.
some of it.
And all that. And then Joey's sometimes on Tuesday nights and all that. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and shut the chat down. Everybody can hang in here for a minute or two.